Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And the Hierophant, to start us off, that is a very interesting card. This is the card of fixed earth. This is the card of things being done in a very particular way, right? By the book, as they say. I feel like maybe lately you've been struggling with this issue of going by the book, following the tradition, following kind of doing what you're told or doing what everybody kind of before you has done, doing things the so-called right way, right? Because the Hierophant kind of shows us what is considered sacred in the world. We think of, hard sciences or, mathematics or even engineering, right? The way we build things and the methods and techniques that we use to do things in the right way. Even anything from art to music, there's a right way, right? And then there's everything else. I think you're kind of at odds with that right now. I do. I feel as if there's some force in your life, whether it's a teacher, a professor, it's a family member, a parent, if it's a member of the clergy, if it is just somebody, if it's a line through your family, right? If it's just kind of a cultural thing. It feels like you're kind of at odds with how things are supposed to go versus how you want them to go or how you feel compelled to move them, right? And so I feel as if you're really an innovator. I feel as if you're somebody who knows the rules. You know the written, process. And then you like to sort of challenge that. You like to bend the rules a little bit. I think you've always been a bit of a rule bender. Even since you were a kid, I think that you kind of like to know where the boundaries were, and then you like to sort of test them. Yeah. And I feel like that experience as a kid really set you up for something great right now. I'm assuming an adult, right? But it is a family show, so we have viewers of all ages, but you know what I mean. Let's see where this energy is going, because I feel like this is a strong force in your life. This could be a parent, grandparent, or something. Some force in the world that's kind of telling you the way things should be done, telling you the so-called right way. Yeah. I want to see what your way is. If your way isn't the right way, what is your way? We got a 5 of Pentacles, so I feel as if you really are stirring up some dust in your life right now. I think that you're challenging a lot of things, not only that you've been taught or that you've been led to believe, but you've been sort of pushing the boundaries of what you have thought possible for yourself. We kind of over time establish our own dogma, so to speak, right? We start to feel like the way that we've always been doing things is just kind of the way I do them. I mean, I tie my shoes, how do I do it? I do a loop, and then I go around the tree, and the rabbit goes through the hole, or whatever it is, right? Other people tie their shoes different ways. You make the 2 rabbit ears, and then you tie those together, which seems strange to me. But it's the way that we typically do things. It's our own habits and routines that we've become so locked into that we tend to forget that there may be other things we can try, And I have nothing against routine. I love routine. I'm a creature of habit myself, I think that our routines give us meaning, but when we're looking to expand the meaning, We have to expand our own personal routines, and we have to kind of test the boundaries of the established order in our lives, even if it's coming from, again, parents or culture or anything like this. We have to see that, maybe there isn't just one way to do everything, right? It kind of brings to mind the Tao Te Ching. The way that can be traveled is not the eternal way. There's not just one way to do everything, not one way to live. There's not just one path that leads to the summit of the mountain, right? So the Five of Pentacles, you're stirring things up. You're causing a bit of a ruckus, whether it's at work, at home, if it's personally in your own life, kind of an internal thing. I feel that you're tinkering with life a little bit. You're starting to tinker with your own habits and routines, and then with, of course, the way that you do things and the way that you approach life. So I feel like you're really an innovator. And in order to innovate, we kind of have to sometimes kick up a little dust, as I say. Let's see what else is going on. Four of Pentacles, yeah. So you've got a Five of Pentacles to kind of challenge your Four of Pentacles. And anytime I see a 5, I immediately think of the 4. Anytime I see a 4, I immediately think of the 5. The 4 is that sense of order and structure and balance. You've got your 4 walls. There's a routine. There's safety and security in routines. Sometimes our habits, our routines, our beliefs, our dogmas, our values, our culture, our textbook way of life, whatever it is, right? That Hierophant energy, that fixed belief system, the constructs, can be isolating and limiting. And that's what the Four of Pentacles really depicts, isolation and limitation. We think of it as earthly power, yes, because if I'm firmly established in my routine and in my habits, I've got my walls up, I've got this strong castle of my life, and I'm powerful within this area, within this zone, But anything outside these walls, not too comfortable with, right? So if we want to expand our castle, expand our kingdom or our experience or our depth of meaning in life, we've got to get outside these walls once in a while. And incidentally, Five of Pentacles, that's what you're doing. But we have to be careful to not tear down the walls altogether and not feel like we have to kind of rebuild everything from scratch, that we're reinventing the wheel a little bit here. I think you're testing the boundaries of your life and of what you believe. You're venturing outside of your comfortable Four of Pentacles, that comfortable, safe, secure, stable castle kind of thing that we have here, right? Because I feel like even though, yeah, you're an Aries sign, everybody thinks of Aries as like, the cardinal fire energy, right? The Knight of Wands. I think sometimes that Aries energy can fall into habit, can fall into routine, as we all can. And there's nothing wrong with routine. It keeps us efficient, right? Routine allows us to focus on those deeper things in life because we're not putting in so much energy figuring out how to do everything that we do. I don't have to sit there and really break down the problem of tying my shoes. I just kind of know how. It's just become habit, right? I think it's something like that. If I had to focus on that, we think of everything we do in life. If we had to focus that intensely on it, we would lose a lot of energy, right? A lot of that would be kind of zapped by having to do everything for the first time, again, for the first time, So habit and routine is good, but I think right now you're starting to analyze that. You're starting to think about how you might be able to expand your experience of life by getting outside of these routines, outside of these walls. What's in the past position for you? A 10 of Cups. Interesting. That's an experience of the fullness of life. And what it's telling me is that our life is full within the boundaries of this Four of Pentacles. So you have the satiety. You've gotten, if your life is only this big, it doesn't take much to fill it up, right? But if we expand these walls, then we create more room for more meaning, for more emotion, more feeling, more connection, more love, right? More divine light. So I like this. I like this because it's saying that you've experienced as much as you could experience. Your life became as full as it possibly could, and now you're looking for more. We're going to need a bigger boat, right? We're going to need a bigger vessel, a bigger container. So we're pushing past this Four of Pentacles, and I like that. I don't think this was anything bad. I think this was really the last few months of your life were probably very productive, very pleasant, and you're looking for more. And now maybe it's, maybe it is something at work or something culturally with family, friends, something personal, something spiritual. It's almost like you're asking the question, now what? Like, is this all there is? Now what do I do? Right? But this, I think, was a very good experience for you, very good time in your life. I don't see this as being struggle. I feel this is, you experienced everything that it had to offer. Okay? We think you're at an amusement park, right? You've been on every ride a bunch of times. It's kind of like, now what? Now what do I do? We got to go somewhere else, right? We got to go outside the park. We got to go find some new adventure, okay? And that's what I think this card represents. Well, let's see what's up above. Let's see what is the new adventure that we are being influenced by. Perhaps what? Oh, Prince of Wands. Interesting. The Prince of Wands is kind of the like the royalty in training, right? The emperor in training with the Four of Pentacles. So the Prince is very fixed energy too, right? It's very, very locked in place. This is a consistent, fiery energy. This is the Prince of Wands. They want to explore every corner of the castle grounds, of the kingdom, right? Everything within the walls of the kingdom here, of the castle. They want to explore everything. They want to know everything, every part of the system, because they're training to then rule over it all, right? So they're really, they're out here consistently learning and trying to understand the way things are done. These two cards together is somebody that's really fond of learning the rules. I want to study, practice doing things the right way, right? And I feel like maybe this is kind of how you've been with your life, and this is really intense energy. This is really productive, really strong, really ambitious. It's time to think outside the box. We got this Five of Pentacles now. I think you're feeling limited by these rules. It's like you're at a job and you've learned every department. You've gone to every department and you've learned everything there is to know. You've practiced it. You're good at it. The only thing you can really do is keep bouncing from department to department to keep up on your skills, But where do you really go from there? You start inventing things. You start innovating. You start creating. And it kind of is, this has to come first. We have to learn all of the rules. We have to learn the entire system before we can have that kind of meta experience of where the system can go from here. Okay, just the same as in music. You have to learn the chords and the theory and the structure of music. You have to learn the rule. You have to learn the technique of how to hold your fingers or what keys to push on the keyboard, in order to then, create and compose something original, right? So I feel that this is very good energy for you, and I'm very curious what's coming next. Let's see what the future card is. There it is. The Magus, the Maestro, the Magician, the Master. The one who is directly inspired from Spirit and can create whatever is coming through from Spirit. See, the Magician holds the wand upraised, at least in traditional packs. This is the Millennium Thoth Tarot. By the way, this is the new deck that I'm working with. Still the Thoth Tarot. I still have my trusty daily driver here that's worn and weathered. Close at hand if we need it, but I like the Millennium Thoth Tarot. I posted a link to anyone that wants to purchase this. Right, it's an Amazon affiliate link, so I get a couple of pennies if anybody buys it. But I really am connecting with this deck a lot, and typically the Magician has the wand upraised because it's receiving that fire from heaven, Prometheus style, right? And it's a direct channel into their activities. It's like the divine energy is coming right through you, out through your fingertips. It's like electric fingertips. Okay? And you're able to compose and create and innovate and invent without any loss of information, without any data loss in the translation, right? It's a very clean throughput. There's nothing getting lost on the inside. There's no blockage inside, right? Because we know the rules. If your body knows how to perform every single task or every single chord on a, I don't know, bass guitar. Shout out to Les Claypool. If you can do every conceivable note with your hands, with your fingers, then when you have that inspiration to create, whatever you're hearing in your head, whatever is coming down, that fire from heaven, your fingers are going to do it. And there's no loss there, right? It's pretty much a one-to-one, direct, like mirroring of your will. And that's what the magus is. That's what the magician is. This is the result of all your previous work. And so I think going forward, this is really the energy in you that's going to create, it's going to innovate and invent something. It's going to take this Four of Pentacles and shake things up, right? How are we going to expand? How are we going to grow? What are we going to do here? It's kind of, this is where the Aries energy really, really gets to shine, okay? Because there's a lot of force, a lot of excitement behind this. And of course, there's this knowledge that you've got the skill and the talent. You've got the refinement because you've been working within the system for so long that now you're able to completely transform, again, innovate, invent, initiate change in your life right now. Whether this is just something internal, something with your family, friends, if it's a workplace thing, if it's your creative energy, if it's your spiritual life, whatever it is. All of these things. Yeah. The magician is the one to do it. This is the perfect card to get. This is a prophecy. I want to select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Whoop, got a couple of volunteers. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. I'm going to try to go slow so we don't drop too many more. And we're just going to put this card over here. We're going to put Kevin, a.k.a. Mr. Bates, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. At the end of the reading, if you have a prediction, put it in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's free, helps out the channel, and we're kind of struggling, need all the help we can get, so I appreciate that. The two volunteer cards happen to be the Chariot and the Ace of Swords. The Chariot sometimes is our devotion and our commitment to the kingdom, to this, right? So it's not quite the same as the Prince of Wands, because the Prince of Wands wants to go, it's the king in training, right, the prince. The prince goes out and wants to learn everything about the system because one day, this is all going to be mine, I'm going to be in charge. The Chariot, on the other hand, has this intense love and devotion for the kingdom itself and will ride or die for it, right? And this is that ride or die kind of energy. And I feel like you have this commitment to something, whether this is that job or that industry. Maybe this isn't a particular company. Maybe this is just like the music industry, right? Broad kind of term. This is your love and devotion, which I think is absolutely important and critical to the success in what you're doing, right? For all this to work, we have to have that kind of devotion. Not only that, you've got the Ace of Swords. You have clarity of mind. You have a really clear, I think, vision, right? It's almost like your mind is empty and you're just receiving the direct impulse from heaven. It's like you're downloading the blueprint right now. And then, of course, the magician is going to be the one that translate that out into the electric fingertips, okay? But this is the idea. You've got the plan. You say, aha, I know what to do now. You're done at the amusement park. You've had everything you can. You can go around and try to shake things up and, cause a bit of a ruckus, make things more exciting. But then comes that idea, that Ace of Wands, the light bulb on top of your head. You say, I can see it clearly now. I know exactly what to do, right? I know exactly. So very good volunteer cards. Well, let's check in with the general energy on the path of the serpent. The art card. Well, there we go. This really could be something literally in the art realm or the art world for you. And I just realized this new chair is almost as squeaky as the last chair. Have you noticed that? The art card is your ability to refine the work that you're doing, or the system that you're doing, or the progress that you're making, right? This is very, very almost delicate work, you know? We don't want to do too much too fast and, I kind of spoiled the soup, right? We do a little bit. We do a little bit, we test it. If it's not right, we start again. We can refine things through iterations, right? Version 1, version 1.1, 1.2, you know, we keep trying. Or sometimes I think we really do have to be very delicate and do things just a little bit at a time. We're not trying to implement these really huge changes. So I think that this, as the Temperance card, is restraining that Aries energy just a little bit so that you don't go in and just turn this entire thing on its head, right? We're not trying to do that, right? We're trying to take it and just experiment, just push out those boundaries and see where there's a good spot that we can continue kind of snaking forward. And, you know, and refining this idea that you have. This innovation, this invention, whatever it is. Yeah. I like this card. I think this card is, it feels a little bit like restraint, right? But I feel like it's the proper amount of restraint so that we can make the most progress the quickest, right? Because if we just dump the thing upside down, we're not really innovating. We're just shaking, we're really shaking things up. But we want to do something a little bit more subtle, perhaps. Yeah. It could really be a revolutionary idea, but it might be implemented and refined through iterations, right? Through very careful, little bit of this, little bit of salt, little bit of sugar, until it's perfect, right? If you're making a sculpture, you start off taking big slices off the chunk of clay, right? But then as you get closer, you got to use a very fine little brush or scraper or chisel or something, I don't know, to make those little tiny details, those small refinements, the finishing little touches here and there. See, and I think that you understand that dynamic. Sometimes it is. We just got to tip the thing over and shake it up. Not all the time, not all day, every day, right? Eventually we got to do a little bit of the fine. You know, it's like, well, for cooking, for example. I mean, first you just take the thing and you throw it in a pot of boiling water, or you throw it on a really boiling, like sizzling hot pan on the stove, and you just cook the shit out of it, right? But then you dial it down. We temper ourselves. We temper our energy, and we turn the heat down. We let something simmer, right? Or we get the tweezers and we do the little fine details at the end, right? I'm thinking food because I know that the third season of The Bear just came out on Hulu, and I'm excited to watch it. Let's see what the card of the environment is. Three of Cups. See, the Three of Cups is now the potential for such a renewed depth of experience and meaning and purpose and enjoyment and fullness, right? Because we said that this really came from you having gotten everything you can out of this amusement park, and now it's like, I want something else. Like, where do I go from here? Now we're realizing that, you know, this process that we're involved with, this process that you are kind of initiating, has the potential to really create that kind of renewed experience and depth and meaning and all that. You know, we're kind of, we're expanding the amusement park here, and I think it really has a lot of potential for Three of Cups celebration, appreciation, love. It's really an abundance within you, an abundance of love energy. And it's kind of like you have so much capacity for joy that whatever situation you're in, it's too small, right? It's too small. We need something bigger. We need a bigger boat. So that's really a great confirmation, that Three of Cups. What is the obstacle here, if there is one? The devil. Interesting, as an obstacle. Because this is really this is your driving force. This is your creative drive. This is your aggressive drive. This is your pleasure-seeking drive. This drive. So the devil energy here is kind of saying that, you know, if there is an obstacle here, and I feel like this is an okay problem to have, right? Is that you're going to be so successful and productive in this work that you're doing, in this invention, innovation, this pushing forward, this expansion of the castle, the devil's saying you may not know when to quit, right? You may be so focused on, wow, I'm climbing up this mountain. Look at me go. I'm all the way to the top. I'm just going to keep going, not realizing that you're thirsty, you're hungry, your body's tired, right? You just passed by a really cool, roadside attraction or something, or a really nice diner, and you didn't stop. You just kept going, because we can sometimes get obsessed with that creative process that we don't know when to just kind of slow down and take it in. Slow down and really say, yeah, I enjoy this, Especially with that Three of Cups, it's still in potential form. But if we just keep climbing right past it, this is always going to be a potential. Six of Swords. Well, that's perfect. So keep the Devil card in mind, especially as you're involved in this, as you start picking up speed, the momentum grows. Be sure that you manifest this pleasure, because that's kind of what we're hoping for anyway. And when I say pleasure, I don't just mean like the immediate gratification of our kind of physical desires. I mean that deep meaning of life, that deep purpose, that deep underlying joy and bliss of life. Whether this is career or family, friends, if it's art, if it's whatever, right? If it's your spiritual work. The Six of Swords at the end, I think, is the perfect confirmation, especially considering that we have the Ace of Swords, which is that light bulb. I know what to do now. Here come the schematics, right? So having that light bulb experience is not quite enough. Doc Brown had the vision of the flux capacitor, but if he didn't work it out on paper, if he didn't sit down and do the math and do the science of it, and get the schematics, figure out how to build it and how to install it, and all that kind of stuff, it wouldn't have come to anything, right? And I think that the Six of Swords is talking about that, about realizing that we have to have some sort of plan. It has to be well thought out. It has to be somewhat rational, right? It's not just this destructive force and again, with that devil energy, that aggressive drive. We're not just going in and smashing things down and saying, I did it. That's not what it's about. It's not about smashing anything. It's about taking what is there and expanding it, pushing it beyond its limits, right? That Hierophant energy is very fixed in time. The Hierophant energy is kind of saying, there's one way to, there's one way to build a house. And we've done it the same way for thousands of years. There's only one way to do it. And we know that's kind of ridiculous, right? Materials change, the weather changes, people change, our needs change, right? So the methodology, the protocol that we use for doing anything in life have to evolve over time. I feel like that's what you're at the forefront of in some way. We've got to have a pretty good schematic to work from. Okay, we have to kind of see how this Ace of Swords idea, we have to see it kind of like augmented reality, like projected onto the world around us. So we kind of know, okay, I know what I really am. I know what I'm trying to do. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to my heart and my soul. It seems like this is it. And we keep moving forward. This is a very, very good card to end with. Very reasonable card, but let's look at the mystery card. Thank you, Kevin. Well, we've got cardinal water, we've got cardinal earth. How about some cardinal fire? Right? I'm thinking this is either going to be cardinal fire or cardinal air, because we have all the cardinal signs. We have these two as opposites, and since you are Aries, maybe this is going to be the Libra energy, right? The cardinal air this could be the adjustment card, or it could be maybe the Knight of Swords. This really could be your power card, though, the Aries card, right? The Emperor, or the Knight of Wands. Any of those options, I think. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Here we go. Oh, look at that beauty. Look at that, Aries. That's your card. That's the Emperor. We're going to ring the bell, as we do, for the for the superpower card. This is really the activation of your Aries energy. This is what Aries is all about. Aries is not about just jumping into dangerous situations, acting impulsively and kind of annoying everybody around them. That's not Aries, and Aries gets a bad rap for that. The Aries energy is one that's based on love and commitment, and there is this intense drive and desire to innovate, to push beyond, to kind of to start something new. You're at the beginning of the zodiac cycle, right? So it's your job to kind of inaugurate this change that then is going to evolve over the next 11 signs that we go through. Yeah. So this is really, and it's a heavy responsibility for you. And it feels like a prophecy, but it's yours. And I think this energy is just absolutely fantastic. We're going to do an extended reading. Click on the link in the top. There's one down below too. New readings for Aries Monday and Friday. So you initiate the week and then you initiate the weekend as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment, let me know where in the world you're watching from. Especially if you're a first-time viewer, I want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. I want you all to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.